Well, welcome everybody. I am really excited about our training tonight. A lot of people told me that one of the biggest roadblocks they're feeling right now is just like, how am I getting new people? How are you growing your customer base? Because I have been there when it's like you have the same 10 customers all the time. It gets stale because nobody's really, there, it's just not enough people. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Welcome, Mom. Excited. Hopefully this will work this time. Can we all hear each other?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yay! For those of you I just started the recording, but she was having some technical difficulties with her microphone. So we're glad that we got that worked out. So I'm going to go ahead and pray, and then we're going to do some training. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this incredible group of women. Thank you for letting them be able to just carve out the time to come to this training. I pray that you would help it to be really practical and helpful. I pray for all those in both of our units that are just battling sickness or just other kind of major things right now, whether that's just family things or financial things, just a lot going on. I pray that you would encourage each of us, that you would help us to love each other and to pray for each other and really have each other's backs within our Mary Kay family. Thank you for this opportunity we have to meet from all over the country and still have this great connection. In your name I pray, amen. Okay, so Anna is also not on here tonight. So if you're thinking of Anna, be in prayer for her. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was last Monday, she said she had fallen and hurt her wrist. Well, it was so swollen, they didn't know that it was broken right away. And today she found out that it's actually broken. So she's got a cast on. So she said, I'm having a hard time, typing and doing things. So I'm sure we all kind of understand that, but she's got that going on. Amanda and her family are battling COVID. And I think there's probably 3 or 4 other people between both units that are also on the recovering end or kind of in the thick of it with COVID and other illness. So just be thinking of each other, praying for each other. If someone comes to your mind, one of my friends told me this a while ago, and it's just such good advice. If someone comes to your mind, if you have a second right then, just send them a text and say, I'm thinking of you, because the Holy Spirit is probably putting them on your heart for a reason right then. So that's just a great way, and they may not be able to reply right then because they may have a lot going on, but just knowing that someone else, even if they're on the other side of the country, just thought of them, it means so much. We've all been there where we've gotten that nice text in the middle of just nonsense. It feels really nice. So let's just be very intentionally doing that for each other, because I know of just a lot going on for everybody, and there's probably a lot going on that I don't know about too for everybody on here. So we'll just be praying for each other and cheering for each other. So let's get to some training. I am curious, how many of you, my hand will be up on this, so it's something that we're all going to be working on together, but how many of you feel like it can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes to grow your customer base and get new customers? Everybody, okay, that is a pretty normal thing to run into. So I wanted to give you some ideas and things that are working for me right now. I will say in different seasons of my business, different things work. So what I'd encourage you to do is take some notes, because I'm going to give you several different ideas, and it may be that the idea that's working for me right now is not the one that works for you, because we're all in different seasons, different parts of the country, different friend circles, so here's what's working for me right now. I know that sometimes it can be a little tricky to get the party booking, but when you do get your party bookings, I send friend requests to every single person that joins that party. And not everybody's going to respond or even see the request. But once I've been able to add them as a friend, there's a couple reasons that this is really good for growing your customer base. First of all, it's a lot easier to message them on Facebook, because Facebook, if you guys aren't friends on Facebook, Facebook kind of puts your message to them in this kind of hidden spot where they may or may not see it because you're not actually Facebook friends. So if you're already friends on Facebook, it's a lot easier to see each other's messages. And that will help you to be able to invite them to come to your private customer group, or to host their own party, or to purchase products. So that's step one, is make sure you're actually sending friend requests. I mean, if it's a really bad thing, if they were a jerk in the party, you don't have to send you don't have to send them a friend request, so use your discretion. But I would say as much as you can, that has been something that has really helped, because then after we're friends, what I usually do is I send them a thank you after the party is over. I'll private message them and just say, thank you so much for being in Susie Q's party. And sometimes I ask about a sale, but more often than not, the first thing I kind of ask people, because I feel like this is more, I don't know, it's more genuine and it's not really asking them for anything. Because I say, would it be okay if I sent you an invite to my private customer group? I would just absolutely love to stay connected with you. And the reason I kind of start there is a couple things. She may not be able to buy anything right now, but that doesn't mean she won't be able to buy anything in 2 months. So I want to make sure that I have that connection for in the future, because some people will be able to buy on the spot, which is great, but it's not going to be everybody. And we all know that. We've all been that person too, where somebody's asked us and we're like, I do like this product, but I just can't right now. So I think part of building a big customer base is knowing that the more customers you have, these 10 people may not be able to purchase anything right now. But if you have 20 people, these 10 might. So the more people you have, the easier it is to get consistent sales, because you don't have to ask the same, people every time. And I've been there where it's like, I can't, like, I would be ashamed to ask these people one more time if they want to order anything for me. I've been there. I'm like, I cannot. So making sure I'm sending friend requests and growing my customer group that way, that's been huge for me. I also almost every time invite them to join Glam Group, because I put different posts in Glam Group than I do in my private customer group. And everybody's got a different personality. And sometimes they are in my private customer group and have never commented anything, but they are active on Glam Group. Give yourself the best bet. Maybe they're not connecting here, but maybe they'll connect with you over here. Maybe they don't comment on any of your Mary Kay stuff anywhere, but when you post on your public page, just your I'm a person that's I'm just a person page on Mary Kay, they might connect with you there. So really keeping those connections open, I think, is super important to growing your customer base. And from a party, I always try to get another party booking, because that party is going to lead me to more people. Does that, make sense? And I know I've been there where I've tried to get the party booking from a party and I don't get any. All right. So you're not a failure if that's happened to you. I've also been there. Here's what I'm finding. A lot of people who were not ready to book parties with me several months ago are ready now. So that's why, even if they don't want to book a party with you right now, they might be ready to do one in a couple months. So that's why it's really important, I think, to get them in your customer group or in Glam Group or in both if you can, so that they're getting more comfortable with you and getting to know you, so that, some people, I think they don't want to book parties with us right away, because if the first time they ever met us was at a Facebook party, they don't really know us yet. Have you guys, I've been to several Facebook parties as a guest and I don't really know the hostess by the end of it. But if I'm connected with her for several months, then I'm going to be a lot more like, oh, yeah, I really do like how she handles things and I like what she does and says. So some of it is being willing to do the work, for lack of a better way to say it, do the work of building the relationship, because people, I also will tell you, you'll have a better party when you guys know each other a little bit better, because she's more invested in making it good. And Megan's going to share, she had a really good party this past week. And a lot of the things I'm saying she's like nodding. She's like, that's exactly how that went. So I have had several parties recently that were from people who told me no. They did not want to do a party at the time, but I made sure we stayed connected. So I think that some of it is, how are you working to build the relationships with the people you already have? It may not pay you back right now in anything other than friendship. Not that friendship is not important, but it may not make a difference in your business right now, but it could in several months. I have several people I'm chatting with about joining my team, and they were people that I've asked before and they said no. And I had 2 separate people come to me today asking questions. I have been very like, if people aren't ready, they're not ready. You guys, we can't force somebody into this. We didn't want to be forced into it ourselves, but just building those solid relationships so that they know they can trust us when it is the right time for them. Because I think all of us, I think almost every person on here had to really think about it for whichever thing they want to do, whether it was purchasing or whether it was hosting. I think Cherie may have been pretty quick on the draw. She knew, but Cherie's a little bit a unicorn compared to the rest of us. She was like ready and it was magical, but most of us were a little bit of a slow roll. So that's a big thing, is building the solid relationships with the people you already have. I'm a firm believer that God will not bless us with more until we're being faithful with what we already have. It's kind of the principle of what am I trying to think of? It's the parable where they're given a certain amount of talents and one guy kind of buries them. Mom, do you know what I'm talking about right now? Mindy seems she's nodding.
Good steward. good
Yes,
steward?
thank you. I can't quite fill it all in. But if we're not stewarding what we already have well, I honestly think the Lord can't give us more because we're not being faithful with what we have now. So that's why I have tried to make it a very strong commitment that I message 5 customers every day, and not usually about Mary Kay, because why would they want me to be their Mary Kay lady if I can't just be a person with them, you know? Like they can get Mary Kay from somebody else. And if all they're in it for is the products, they can order somewhere else. But what makes Mary Kay different and what makes us valuable is that we are their friends and we have a relationship with them. So I think that's a big thing. So there's not a lot of like, here's how you get new people outside of sending those friend requests, but being really faithful to people you already have. Second way, you can actually go meet some new people. And this might make you sick to your stomach because it does to me a little bit, but you guys, we can actually talk to other human beings in real life. I know it's crazy, but we can actually hand our at the supermarket, or if you don't have a card, here's what I actually prefer. I made a little like business card on my phone. It is nothing special. It's just basically my picture and it has my name, my phone number, and my website. And I say, hey, you know, I don't want to be weird or creepy, but I do Mary Kay and I would love to send you some skincare samples if you don't have another Mary Kay lady. Could I send you my digital business card? Pop quiz, why do you think it would be a better idea to send a digital business card rather than hand them a physical business card? Anybody have any like thoughts on that? Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, we get it. It's because we get their phone number, right? Whereas, I mean, show of hands, how many of us have thrown away business cards because it's like, right? It's really easy because you lost my wallet for 6 months and I'm like, oh yeah, you don't even really remember what it's from. So I think a digital business card, and it does not have to be fancy, you guys, like you can literally throw something together. If you're like, I don't have that skill set, but I'd like one, my mom or I could make one for you really quickly. You send us your picture, we'll get you one. But that's a really good thing. My favorite place to meet people, because I if you're like me, if you're just walking down the aisles of Target, you might be like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Sometimes I can't do it either. What I have found works better for me is if I'm in like a smaller shop, like I don't know, like maybe a mom and pop donut shop or a little smaller boutique or something like that, I will often be able to talk to the cashier really easily. It's not forced, it's really natural. I do think that sometimes we think we're gonna have to be weird to do this, but it's actually pretty easy to offer your digital business card to someone that you can actually talk to a little bit. So some of it is just being brave enough to be willing to ask them if you can send your business card. What I try to offer is I try to send them skincare samples, because that's, you know, a lot of people are not comfortable getting together right now where we are. And I get that there's a lot of sickness going around. We've got like fluvid going around here. But I'm trying to send them skincare samples. And then I made a short, like 5-minute video of myself just telling them what each sample is. Would it be better to do a virtual, like live thing where I'm walking them through how to use the samples? Yes. But let's be real here. We can't always coordinate our schedules, right? So I'd rather have something. So I send them, the samples if they're willing to give me their address. And then I'm sending this little video. It's on YouTube. I'm happy to send you guys the link if you want to use it. I actually got cut off at the end, but I decided that progress over perfection was more important to me right then. So it cuts off like the last 2 or 3 words that I was going to say. But if you want that video to walk people through how to use, it's the Time Wise Skincare. That's all it's for. It's not for all the skincare lines. I would be happy to send you that link. I also would say, encourage you. You probably know as much as I do about Time Wise. So if you want to make your own, you totally can. If you're like, I would rather die than make my own, use mine. Whatever you need to do to make it happen. And I use Nancy's videos forever. So there's no judgment if you're like, it's just not for me. That's fine. But that's another way, is just actually giving out your card, whether it's digital, or I really do think digital is better because you'll get more return on that. Third way to do it is like Mindy did, and this is how Cherie ended up in our Mary Kay family. Take an actual lookbook. This is a holiday one. This is an older one, but take one of your Mary Kay lookbooks. Put your information on the back. You can get stamps or stickers. There's a lot of things that you can get from Mary Kay Connections, MK Connections, where you can get it branded. And ask some business owners if they would allow you to put that in the front of the gym, or I've had things like that in coffee shops, donut shops, boutiques, stuff. Yep, that's the stamp. I have one like that too. They're not expensive, but that can be a great way to meet some new people. fourth way that I've had success with, and this has been a little bit different since the pandemic. So I'm just starting to get back into it and starting to find a little bit of a rhythm. Something called a lead box. How many of you have heard of the lead box? I know at least some of you have had conversations with Megan, my mom, Mindy. Okay, so here's what a lead box is. And if you want to see, if you're visual like me, there is more information on this on Nancy's website, so I can send you the link. Cherie especially, I know that this is new, but basically it's a little box. I have one on my shelf. Let me grab it. Oh, mom has one too. Fabulous. Okay, so here's the thing. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Hers looks like that. Mine looks like this. I got this from the Dollar Tree. This pink from the actual Dollar Tree. I think I got this bow from Hobby Lobby and I just threw it on there for effect. And then this you can print off from Nancy's website. It is free. And it basically, here's what it says. Need pampering? Claim your complimentary facial package today. Fill out attached form or drop in business card. And it just kind of shows a girl washing her face. I have a black and white printer. If you have a color printer, it looks really cute, but I just worked with what I had. I ended up taping one of my business cards up here just so people had my info, but that's not necessary. I just did it. I threw some of those those rocks that you can put in a fish tank in the bottom just to give it some weight and so that the cards wouldn't, I don't know, it just looked better to me to have something in there. And what these are some that people gave me, but you can print off sheets on Nancy's website and cut them up. But it basically is just a little info card where they fill out their name, their, the best way to contact them and what they're interested in. And what I'm doing is I'm mailing them samples. If they want to meet in person, I'm okay with that. But I know not everybody is okay with that. Maybe that just doesn't work for your schedule. For Nancy right now, her mom is going through chemo, so she has to be really careful. So if you can't meet in person, that's okay. Sure, yeah.
Who's Nancy? Like, how do I get?
Should I keep talking about her? I'm so glad you asked. Nancy is my senior director, and we need to do more with Nancy, so y'all know who she is. Nancy's my senior director. She's the reason I started Mary Kay. Nancy had a box like this in a pizza shop, and this is how I got started with Mary Kay. I entered to win a facial, and I met her, and we did a facial. So that's kind of my story. Yes, Mom.
And we're meeting with Nancy's group the first Monday of each month, which is not next Monday,
week, but the week after.
Yeah. So we did it the first Monday.
Yes, but that's more than fair. And honestly, Cherie, as our teams keep growing, there'll be more people who are like, "Who is this Nancy?
Who is this?"
I didn't get the videos to watch that you said about.
Yes,
that's where it's going.
That sounds right. Yes, Nancy, where she talks you through like inventory options and stuff. That's her.
Yeah. How do I get to those?
I will send you. I'll make sure Mom sends you the link for it for her website to make sure that I'm answering the question you're asking for.
I think I put it in the comments. I think I did.
Okay.
I don't do well on my phone, so maybe I didn't. Maybe I only sent it to Megan or something.
You did not.
Well, I'll try again. All right.
It's nancydbeckwith.com, but we can text it to you as well. So that's where we'll find all of that. But lead boxes are great. Here, a couple reasons is that they're definitely not people you already know, and that helps grow your circle. I know sometimes the people we already know, they just can't see us as skincare makeup professionals because they've known us as just us for so long. So it's a great way to meet people outside of your current circle. I will say that that's a huge benefit of a lead box. I don't want to call this a drawback, but just something to be aware of. With a lead box, because they don't know you personally, it's a little bit easier for people to blow you off or ghost you. So the more lead boxes you have, the better your odds of getting a good return on them. If you have one lead box out, that is good, but you may or may not get a lot of results from it. So I'd recommend if you can get 3 or 4 out. The way I ask to put them out is I'll just go into a store. I have my box with me and I'll say, "Hey, is there a manager here? I just have a question. Nothing's wrong." You lead with that, because if you ask for a manager, people are like, "What's going on? I didn't do it." So I tell them there's nothing wrong. I just was going to ask if I could partner with you guys and put one of these in there. And then I ask the manager, sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. It doesn't really matter, but the more you have out, the better your odds of finding new people. But I mean, I don't know that I'd be a Mary Kay had it not been for a box like that. So that's the beauty of it. It's hit or miss. Not everybody that enters is actually going to follow through on their end. And sometimes you'll meet some interesting folks this way. All right. I'll be very honest with you, but you'll also meet some people like us who really need a Mary Kay. Yes. Yes, Mindy.
I know we've mentioned these lead boxes before, and you guys say to give them samples, you can do it that way, or offer a facial.
Yes.
Have we ever gone through where you could make up like if they actually would come to your house like you did to go to Nancy's house, and exactly what they did to you, like what Nancy did for you?
Like
or
what a facial
have
looks
we ever
like in
really done
person?
that? Because you have to remember, I came in too, and we haven't done home parties. I did one.
Mhm.
So we're not used to it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, different thoughts on that because it is tricky because we don't live in Pennsylvania, so we can't like come over to your house and do it. My best recommendation is to actually go to Mary Kay University. They walk you through step by step how to do an in-person party, like literally here's what you put on the table all the way through. Here are the questions you ask at the end of the facial. So that will be the most thorough answer. My second idea that might be helpful is, in Glam Group, a couple times my mom and I have washed our faces. That's really all we do around the table. It's just that there's not a screen between us. I don't think I usually do the facial with them, but I'm not against doing that. What I usually do at a facial is I literally just walk them through using the cleanser, the moisturizer. If it's morning, we'll do day cream. If it's evening, we'll do night cream and eye cream. And then generally I do a small makeup look at the end, which is CC cream, mascara, and lip gloss, and that's it. Because, we could spend 45 minutes just doing makeup, so I'm not trying to keep everybody there. On Nancy's website, which we definitely need to make sure we're sending out this link for everybody, there is a printable flip chart that will literally walk you through step by step what to say at a facial. Does that sound helpful? If someone's just like, I have the product, what do I even tell them about it? It's printable. You can print it off and literally have it there. So on what happens, let me grab mine so I can show you what it looks like. Mom, do you have yours too?
Getting it. Got it. Here we are.
Oh yeah, you show it.
So here it is. And on the front, they have on the front, they have a picture. And on the back, I have the words to read. And then next page, and I have welcome and introduction and what to read. And this sits up on your table. It's got a little magnet in here. So you can actually order this flip chart. If you started with a kit, it was in your kit.
Amy, I do have that, and I did use it at that one party, but I just didn't know how thorough you would be with like a one-on-one person, like if you would actually go through all that or just do
say, Mindy, you can use your discretion. Sometimes you read the room and you're like, they're not here for the skincare. They want to get to the makeup. I probably wouldn't spend as much time talking about the skincare. What's really nice about what we do is that we're in person when we're doing that. So if you are just kind of getting the sense that they're just waiting to get to the makeup, I probably wouldn't linger on the skincare. I'd do it with them and move to what they're excited about.
Could you mention, how good our skincare is and maybe say we do this cleanse, and then say, but if you're more interested in the makeup, we can do just the makeup kind of thing. Tell them about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would always start with the skincare. I really would.
I would too, because the makeup will feel better if they've done the skincare first. If they're not, I usually just say, we just do a quick face wash before you put on the makeup. That way you'll get the most benefit from it. But I may just not even use the flip chart. I may just okay, do this, great, let's get to makeup. But I always have them feel it because a lot of people don't know that they'll like it until they've actually put it on their skin. So that's my personal take on it.
And Mindy, on the lead box, I always, when someone wins a facial, what I tell them is they win a party that they can invite 2 or 3 friends to come with them. And most of my lead boxes, seldom did they come alone because they didn't know me. Just like Whitney went with Ashley, they come with a couple friends, and it really is a party. And then I turn into a party and give them hostess rewards if their friends order or whatever. So it just kind of develops into that. And yeah, it is a weird world, but you can even have a couple people come with their friends on the same night and save your time. I've done that with multiple hostesses same night. So there's a lot of ways you can work that. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that was good.
That was a long question.
Well, do you
It's a
have
good
more
question.
questions? Would it be helpful to you guys if we kind of actually went through the flip chart at a meeting and kind of walked you through like, okay, we're sitting down at the table. This is what it looks like. Is that helpful? Would you rather just watch it on Mary Kay in Touch? Whatever you guys feel like will help you. That's what these are for. So
I think
Megan,
if we do it like this, it gives us the ability to ask questions.
got it. Okay.
I mean,
And, you know, when I was working with consultants that were close, I would have them over for my facials so they could watch it happen live and just kind of be like my assistant. So yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
My wheels are
Um,
turning.
The
Yes.
product, like a lot of the products, I don't know how to work them. Like I'm learning, like I just learned last meeting that you don't put regular moisturizer around your eyes. I didn't know that.
We need,
You know, I didn't just like, I
hair
just
party
learned a
on
little
here.
bit that you guys, I
Yeah.
feel like I need to learn the products.
This is really, I'm going to take some notes because these trainings are to help fill in gaps. And as our world goes back to normal, some of these gaps we did not have a need for before. And now it's like, okay, people actually might want to get together in person. How do you even do that? This is good. Megan, I think you had a question.
Yeah, can we do like a mock party for in person? Because so mine was kind of mixed. So we did a 2-hour live and in-house party. Sounds crazy, I know, but it was fun.
No, it doesn't sound crazy if it works. That's
Yeah.
the thing, you know, because different things work for everybody. Yeah. So let me just throw this out there. So if I like set up a video camera and I had some friends over and I basically just recorded me leading a party, would that be helpful to you guys? I'm seeing a lot. Got it. Okay. Well, I'll just ask my customers and be like, hey, you guys, you're gonna do a fake party with me. We're gonna do it. And it'll be very fun. So in the meantime, I would say if you can hop on Mary Kay in Touch and go to Mary Kay University, a lot of this kind of like literally mock party is on there where you can watch how are they setting up their table? What are they saying during the party? So I don't think it's as good as like actually seeing a real life consultant do it like I would, but that might fill in some of the bigger questions and then be able to narrow it down to, okay, if then kind of scenarios. So, and then also, would it be helpful if we did one where we did it virtually and showed you guys how to do like a Zoom party, or do you feel like you don't need that?
We could actually have a Zoom party with us.
Right.
Where
That's
you guys are mock customers. And that way, and that's what I was thinking about, Whitney, if you did a party with customers, I kind of like the idea of not having customers because then everybody can feel free to ask any question they want to along the way. And that might be awkward if there's actual customers there.
I think we're talking about two separate things. So I was talking about for an in-person party, it would be recorded and I would share the recording with you guys rather than have you watching live. I think that would be more natural if that makes sense. Do you guys hate that idea? Do you like that idea? I want feedback because this is to be helpful. So if that sounds not helpful, like just tell me.
If we do something like that, can we do it a little bit later so that I can watch the video after work? Because like I told you, I just got out of work.
Yeah.
So that I can watch the video and then like write down questions I may want to ask.
Yeah. Yes.
I
And
think
maybe,
the more
have
we're,
the video to watch during the week. And then at our meeting, say, hey, you did this here. What was that? What would you say there? What if somebody said, or kind of things like that.
I think the more we're exposed to the different ways, because every party's going to be a little bit different, right? I mean, they just are because you have different people. So like if we do a Zoom one with us being the customer and you do one that we can watch a recording, we can do the MK University, whatever. I think all of it's just going to benefit us feel more comfortable just doing one.
I would
like-
say this is so helpful, you guys, because what's the point of having a meeting if you aren't getting the training you need? Like that does not help anybody. So I really appreciate all this feedback. And if you guys have something on a Tuesday afternoon where you're like, I don't know how to do this, and I wish someone would tell me, please text my mom or I, because those are the kinds of things that we should be covering, because this is training. And if like, what is training good for if it's not actually teaching and helping with gaps that because I had fully in person and fully virtual, I know there are things that I don't even realize that people don't know because I've done this so many different ways. And now I do feel like, I don't know if y'all agree, but I kind of feel like we're in this kind of hybrid world where we're doing a little bit of this, but also some of that. And that's very new. I did see on Mary Kay in Touch, they just put up a new training video called How to Do a Hybrid Party. So that would probably be worth your time, because I think they're teaching you how to do something virtual. Like, I think if memory serves, I think they're basically doing a party at their kitchen table with some real people, and then also FaceTiming in people that couldn't come. So they're 2-for-1 kind of idea. So I think that would be worth your time too. Yes, Mom.
Which is what we're doing with church these days, because Dad will be preaching, but he also has his live there for people who are sick or can't come or aren't comfortable coming, and they can put in prayer requests or questions along the way. And that's how you could have people at distance who are streaming in at the same time you have people live. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, this is so helpful. I'm definitely taking notes. So we will tentatively plan on doing a Zoom party next week, and I will send out info like, okay, here's the products you want to have on hand. I need to think through if I can maybe mail you guys samples so you could see what it'd be like to receive them as a customer. I'm willing to do it. I don't mind the cost. I just need to make sure I have enough samples and supplies on hand to do that. Because I think, I'm going to be honest, knowing what it's like to be on the customer end of things is really helpful. Like, you know, when I get a package from anybody else that's in a small business, I am looking at like how they're wrapping things up, how it makes me feel on the receiving end. So even getting feedback from you guys going, oh, I really liked that this was tucked in there. You might think about doing this a different way. I don't know that that's a bad thing. So let me put some thought into that. If I do it that way, we may not do it next Monday, maybe the Monday after, because I want to do it and make it good. But this is so helpful. So, okay, a mock party in person that you guys can watch and go, how the heck are you doing this? A Zoom party where we're doing samples together on video. That would be helpful. Anything else that you're like, can you teach us more about this?
This isn't to do with the party, but I know Cherie, and I mean, I know for myself, going to Mary Kay in Touch is just overwhelming. Honestly, I don't even know where to go most of the time. If maybe we could even break it down into sections on Monday nights and say, hey, we're going to do this. I myself don't have a computer, but I actually have 2 phones that maybe I could work both of them or something. Or so maybe like Cherie and I can go meet together.
So kind of doing like a walkthrough of like, okay, and like have it on the screen. We're on Mary Kay in Touch. Here's where you go to find out information about this. And here's where you can check on that. Is that what I'm hearing? That would be helpful? Because
I think so. It's just overwhelming to me.
And I do always feel like you can text and say, hey, I'm looking for this. And I try to say, go to Mary Kay in Touch business tools, and it's on that drop down. I try to give you a little bit more direction, but I know. Well, wait till you get to Nancy D. Beckwith, because she has a lot on there. They would be going to resources. Am I right about that, Whitney?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So we really kind of some simplification of finding y'all, we might use the rest of this time to do a little Q&A. Is anybody against that? So that I can figure out, is that okay with everybody if we kind of deviate from the original plan? And then Megan, maybe I'll have you wrap it up with sharing about your party from last week. Does that sound good? Okay, so scratch anything that you got in an email from me. This is what we're gonna do for the next, 15, 20 minutes. Okay, so on In Touch, what are some, maybe not necessarily about In Touch, what are some resources that you find yourself needing to find or want to know more about regularly that you just are having a hard time finding? Are you having a hard time finding scripts? Finding graphics,
graphics. They changed it all. It's like you have to download an app or something like that. And I'm just, I was like, you know what, I'm done.
Sister, I was like, what are we doing?
Me. I downloaded an app and I don't know what to do with it.
Uh-huh. I
didn't
have
even know you
found
could
that
get
app to
graphics on there.
be a bit of a challenge. So graphics, got it. What kind of graphics specifically, Megan? Just like everything, anything in particular you're looking for?
So when I was doing my party, one of the biggest things is they wanted the people that weren't going to be at my house, they wanted to see the product, but they didn't want to search through the catalog. So I was going to give them options of the graphics and I couldn't find them. So I was like literally screenshotting my magazine.
Gotcha. What kind of products were they asking about? Was it skincare, makeup, all of it?
It was a little bit of everything, more makeup than anything, because they want to see those rich colors, especially of like the eyeshadows.
Mm-hmm. This is gonna sound crazy, but one of my best places to find graphics in a pinch is Pinterest. Literally,
That's
I will
what,
go
yeah, I
on
was looking there too.
that because that can be helpful. So I'll go to Pinterest and I'll type in Mary Kay charcoal mask or whatever it is, and sometimes I can find stuff there. Yes, Mom.
And if you have an active website, you can actually go to your website, go to the lipstick, and you can copy the URL out of the top and click that in.
You can copy and paste the link to that particular
It has
page.
or whatever, so they don't have to look through the whole thing.
And I've done that before. Like if they're like, talk to me about this spice ginger lipstick, and then I'll do that. So, okay, that is super helpful, Megan. So with those graphics, and then I think I see questions from this side as well. So I'm about to get over there. With those graphics, did you need them to just like show the color on skin? Did you need them to have a description of the product? What exactly were you looking for when you're looking for graphics?
So the ones that were doing it online, they just kind of wanted to see it on their screen a little bit easier. I did showcase everything that they were wanting to see. If I had it in stock, I would showcase it.
Like on live video, okay.
Yeah,
Good,
and it was
good, good.
actually my hostess that did it because I was describing what it would be like, but she was describing how she experienced it and how she liked it.
Great. That's great because getting a customer review goes farther because they're not biased. They just like the product.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super helpful. All right. What other questions do we have?
I might have a silly one, but like I know how to. I am challenged with Facebook and these things. So forgive me, girls. I know you're all
No, you're
younger
fine.
than me, but maybe one. Anyway, I can post, some of those things easily. But I noticed, like, especially you and Whitney and Amy, you will do videos that you probably are getting off of Mary Kay somewhere. How to post a video. I haven't accomplished that yet. And I think sometimes it's really good and people will watch that minute video or some 30 seconds.
Yes. Yep.
Of a product.
No, that's not a silly question at all because I notice most people don't share it and it might be a matter of they don't know how. It might be that they just don't want to, but I would be surprised. So yes, I can definitely do a breakdown of how to actually share a video both from a different page on Facebook to a different spot on Facebook or from Mary Kay in Touch. Did you guys know that we have a ton of videos on Mary Kay in Touch that you can share?
Shareable.
Okay, we gotta teach more about
Shareable.
Mary Kay in Touch. If you don't know what's available to you, how could you possibly use it? Okay, this is so helpful. All right, so how to share videos.
Right before we got on, I had a lady say, hey, do you guys have anything for brows? And so I real fast just Googled Mary Kay brows. And then I found this graphic that was both the liner and the brow tint. And I sent it right to her so she could look at it because yes, it is. You want them to be able to see the product right away and not have to search themselves through a whole catalog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I have
Hey,
a question.
Amy. Go ahead.
Sorry. How do you guys do the things with the girl said last week what apps she used, but how do you guys do the things with like the pictures, like the A1 thing? How do you do those?
Mom, why don't you share how you it paused so I will.
Betty's frozen.
Are you I think you're back now, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, Mom.
Well, I use two different ones. The free one I use is Pick Collage. And it took me a minute to learn how to use it, but it's not super hard. Pick Collage. And then recently I have done, what is it, Whitney? Canva.
Yes.
and I went ahead and got the paid for that, but I still do the free pic collage, and it lets you edit pictures, layer pictures. So we have like a background, and then I have learned to keep files in my pictures so I can quickly find them. So I have all of you consultants in a file so I can find your pictures. I've started making a file of Mary Kay products because it keeps coming up about lipstick and brow tint. Instead of looking every time, I just go to Mary Kay products. I save the little folder of my pictures, and there I have what's in there or whatever. So some of that feels like it takes longer, but the organization will ultimately save you time, especially if you are working your business. Yeah.
2 Facebook groups that you could join right now that will maybe have some of these graphics already made, and some of you are already in them. So you might be like, okay, I already know about that. But if you're not, one is called Pink Holidays, and I really like that one. They've got some really cute graphics in there. If you go to the top of Pink Holidays, I think you have to request to join and they'll approve you. But if you go to the top of any Facebook group, there's a little section near the top called albums. And if you go to albums, you can narrow it down. So if you're like, okay, I'm looking for some games for my Facebook group, there's an album called games, and you can find some there. Things like that. So that's one of my favorite ones is Pink Holidays. The other one that I've made, because I found that there were, I when I find a problem, I'm like, okay, how are we solving this forever? So I have a group that I run called the MK Graphics Gal. And I try to put, I'm not always on there because sometimes I just have to work my business and I can't worry about making graphics because that's like the second thing. But I have albums in there where there's an album called Engagement Posts. And I'm not talking about like engagement, engagement where it's things for people to respond to, which we probably do probably 50-50 in glam groups. Some of them are just engagement, some of them are just Mary Kay. But having a variety like that in your group can be really helpful. Because some people are just, they're not going to talk to you about Mary Kay stuff, and that's just got to be okay. I mean, you can be irritated if you want, but it's not going to change it. And keeping group engagement up is really important. I have found one thing that will really help with that is try to always have a question for them to answer, whether it's on the graphic or in your caption. So if I'm going to post a pretty eyeshadow palette, I won't just say, look at this, it's so pretty. I'll say, oh my goodness, I love this look. Which eyeshadow color is your favorite? So they have something to say back to me. It helps. They're not always going to answer. I try to be the first one to comment because there's something about when people see it, there's already a comment there, they're more willing to comment. So often on Glam Group, you'll see, not always, but often I'm the first one to comment there because it just kind of gets things rolling. So that can be a help a little bit. But those are 2 groups where you might find some graphics that'll be helpful to you. I'll think on it, Mom. Do you have any other Facebook groups that come to mind that you find graphics on?
Pink Creations, I do. And then Mary Kay actually has some Facebook pages that you can copy off of. Mary MK USA, or I don't know.
On Facebook, it's actually Mary Kay. If you look it up, Mary Kay has its own Facebook group, and you can get graphics and videos there.
And videos. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a really good one if you're not already in Mary Kay's group, and you can go through the albums there as well. So you can see, I apologize, they don't arrange by albums there. They just do by picture, but you can scroll through and find some cute stuff. But
yeah, I can search. I've searched the page before in the search bar and pulled up, but it's a little trickier. Yeah.
So those are just a couple places. I know that's more of a band-aid solution than surgery. It feels like a little bit sometimes it's like we need surgery. But those are a couple resources. And honestly, Pinterest is my fastest solution. I know that's like kind of lame, but I've found some success there. So Pinterest can be helpful. Yeah, we have, I don't know, time for a question or 2 more. What else do you guys feel like are resources that you're just needing and it can be tricky to find even if you get there eventually? Anything?
There's the baby.
Yes, love it. Oh, I wanted to say, Mindy, I loved that you posted in Glam Group about the funny picture about water. I first of all loved it, but I wanted to invite everyone on here. If you see something that is sense for our Mary Kay group, whether it's about the water challenge or just a funny makeup meme, please post it. I want this to be our group you are welcome to, always. Standing invitation. You see it. It's funny. Maybe it was really successful in your private group. Share it on the glam group. I think it's so
I was hoping
yeah,
that was okay.
Oh, and I am so sorry if I've never made that clear. I would love it always. You are all always welcome to post in there.
Is this today? Recent?
She posted a couple days ago. It was you should go
I'll
look
have
at
to
it.
see. Maybe I see
It's
some. If
great.
I think maybe I already forgot, but which is entirely possible.
You have to look at the girl's face. I just was like, she's like, and then it's like,
Exactly right. It was like drinking
No, I don't
water,
remember it. I don't remember it.
but drinking coffee.
iced
was like,
coffee. Oh yeah.
it was so good and people loved it. So if you guys see something like that, or you're like, oh, this is it doesn't have to be about Mary Kay. If it's just a good post, like there was one I posted the other day that seemed to get good response. It was like, what's something that you could always buy more of kind of idea. People really liked that one. So two things, you can always take posts you like from the glam group and put them in your private group. And if you have one that really worked in your private group that you haven't seen in glam group, feel free to put it in there. If you want to text me first, like if you just feel a little nervous about it, you always can, but I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. So you don't have to, but if you want to, you can. But yeah, that kind of stuff is great. And it's so good for customers to see that there's like other consultants and people that like put stuff in there. I love it when our customers post like, I got my pampering packet or whatever.
Yes.
That's so fun. So, if you're just having a good makeup day and you want to post a selfie in there, do it. Just do it. I love it. Okay, let me think. All right, I don't want to cut her off. So Megan had a really good party this past week, and I thought we could probably all benefit from hearing a few tips. So Megan, what do you think made your party this past week work?
So my hostess came over and a couple friends, and I had everything on display. I actually have a huge curio cabinet, and I put it all up on display in the curio cabinet. And we decided that in her group party that we were going to go live. We didn't think it was going to be live for 2 hours. It was live for 2 hours. We ended up doing games in person and then incorporating it with the people that were on the live. And believe it or not, everybody stayed on the live. Everybody.
Amazing. Well, that
For
tells you that
2
it was
hours.
good.
Yeah, we had fun. And then we hit the 300 in sales. I did sell some product. A lot of it was on, like I had to order, but I did sell some at home, which I made, I think it was $350 altogether.
So that is some money for your family. It got you active again. That is amazing. So can I ask a couple questions?
Mhm.
Okay. What games did you play? Because that intrigued me.
Well, we would play this one where it was kind of like a bingo, where they would have what they had at home and they would put it on their little marker for like eyeshadow. And then if I had it in my stock, I don't know how my friend made it up. She just randomly made it up out of nowhere. She's like, let's play a game. If you have this, you're gonna put it on. Yeah. And whatever I didn't have, they beat me and they would add up points.
Sure.
And at the end, when they got done with their points, whoever had the highest points, I actually gave them a free little sample gift.
Love it. I love that. So here's what I've always heard. There's no perfect way to do a Mary Kay party, but if it's fun, people enjoy things that are fun. So I think it's a lot less about being perfect. I mean, my mom and I are the Hot Mess Express every Monday. That's like everybody's favorite part. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be polished. I have had people put all their skincare on in the wrong order. I've had crazy things happen at parties, but they're memorable. So I love that. So games were a big part of it. How did you actually get the sales? Were people just like, oh, I want to order this? Did you have to ask for them? How did that work?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. My fiance and my friend's boyfriend, we may have put a mask on them and some makeup, and people were loving it. They were loving it. They were dressed up. They were getting tortured, but they're like, in the end, they're like, whatever, we get to watch football in peace.
It's fine.
So do whatever you gotta do. But I actually had
so
men products get bought too. So
so it's really about you. The bottom line that I'm hearing is that it was really fun. It was really interactive. So I do think that there's something to that, going live versus maybe just a posting party. I think posting parties are great. I think maybe myself really needing to hear this, going live with your posting party is like part of it would probably be a really good decision for most of us. Because if I've never met the person that's hosting a party, I don't even know what their voice sounds like. So it's a lot harder to like, make them feel like a real person. So I think the more we can put ourselves out there, and that includes our customer groups, and they're not looking for us to be perfect. I will walk around my house doing a video sometimes and the lighting's ridiculous and my hands all shaky and Oakley starts barking in the background, but that's my real life. They're not looking for me to be, a news reporter on the evening news. That's crazy. That's not real. So I think it's just being a little less worried about things being perfect and a little more like, okay, but what's actually fun? Because we come back to what's fun, because real life is like not so fun most days. So Megan, that sounds like that was a huge contributing factor, because they probably had all had a long week and then they came to your party and it was like, oh, this is great.
Yes.
So
And and I think another thing that really helped was having my hostess try the product and give her thoughts to the people that are online and watching it live. And she would show like one side of her face was completely, looking horrible with 20 different colors on it, but it's still, the other side was still really, really nice. And they got to see that, and people enjoyed that.
And I will say, Megan and everyone, my best hostesses are always ones that already like the product a little bit. So I think if you have someone who's going to host for you and they haven't tried the product much, it would probably be a good business decision to send her some samples, even if, you don't have enough time for her to really get in on everything, because then she can say, oh, my firsthand experience is that the microdermabrasion made my skin feel so good. Because not everybody has the money to buy, 10 different products, but we would be smart businesswomen to say, well, try these 3 and I'd love for you to post your review, good or bad, because we need to let them be honest. Post your review, good or bad, in your party group. That's something that I could start doing that I have not done before. So that's a really good tip, Megan. I appreciate that.
What's the last thing you said, Whitney? What did you want to do in your party group? I'm sorry.
To send the hostess samples of products so that she can give her personal review, because they're her friends, not mine. So they're going to trust her more than me. Hopefully by the end of it, they'll also trust me, but they definitely trust her. That's why they're there. Those are really good tips, Megan. Well, congratulations to you. Ladies, thank you for pivoting with us and making this meeting a little different, but I think this was exactly what it was supposed to be tonight. I feel like I have a better direction for what we actually need to cover. And as you come up and run into things, if you are talking to another consultant and you're both just like, yeah, I never know what to do with this, those are the kinds of things, tell my mom or I will go, okay, then that's where we'll actually try to spend some more time creating or helping you find resources that may already exist. But if you don't know where to look for it, like it's no help to you. So this is really good. Anybody have anything else to add before we hop off here with about 15 minutes to a glam group? Okay, thank you all. This was really good. Mom, do you want to pray for us and close?
Sure. Dear Lord, I just thank you for these ladies and just this Mary Kay opportunity that you've given us. Thank you, Lord, for the good information tonight, and help Whitney and I as we help to kind of fill in some of these gaps in this ever-changing world. And we know it's just going to continue to change, Lord. So help us to just do whatever next steps you have for us. And Lord, I pray that you would give us a good evening, help Glam Group to go well and to be fun. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, ladies. See you in a few. Bye.